Yo, what's going on? Kamikaze Soundwaves here, and last night I had the pleasure of watching the Dragon Ball Super movie Broly. So, I slept on it, I thought about it, I felt like when I walked out of the theater, I didn't get what I was expecting. But at the same time, I got exactly what I was expecting. Let me explain. First off, before I go any further, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen it and you are planning on seeing it, I highly suggest you get the hell out of here. So it is a Dragon Ball Super movie, and it's, it's actually set in this unit, like the actual Dragon Ball Super universe, which I thought was fantastic. I know Battle of Gods was and Resurrection F was as well, but this is like really kind of catching up where Super left off, which really left me intrigued and couldn't wait to see what was going to happen next because I love Super so much. And now that Super's over, I'm just dying to see what's going to happen next. So I know there was going to be a Dragon Ball movie, but I always just kind of felt like Dragon Ball movies, it's like I don't really take them seriously for some reason. I don't know why, but in my personal opinion, watching a Dragon Ball Z or Super movie, I've just never really, taken it that serious. It's just supposed to be a fun kind of time. And I did get a fun time with this movie, absolutely. But I feel like any of the movies, if I can be honest, they just don't have that same passion as the show does. So nonetheless, to answer the question, did I like the movie? Yes, I actually really enjoyed it. But there are some things that I didn't like so much. Now, the beginning part of it is a long backstory of Frieza coming to power, King Cold stepping down, and kind of a lot of a backstory with the Saiyans. Really, Frieza, coming into power, flexing his muscles, and pretty much his beginning of his reign. Nothing's really changing as far as just like King Cold said, it's just that Frieza's now taking over. So we gotta get to see a little kid Frieza and how he was introduced to ruling over the Saiyans and his kind of beginning of hatred for them, and also King Vegeta's hatred of them as well. Of course, Broly's introduced. He's a crazy, super powerful Saiyan, which we all know Broly is. He ends up being way powerful than our boy Vegeta, the one we all know and love. So, of course, King Vegeta kicks him off the planet. And then you get a very long backstory with Broly to a degree where he's kind of shown on the planet and how he's kind of treated as a child and this abandoned planet that he was ended up raised on. And you kind of get a lot of taste of that. And you get to see like how he's kind of just like a Neanderthal, like a caveman, if you will. He's just kind of like, he's smart enough to talk, but he's not educated as far as anything else. He just knows how to kill, eat, and survive. I really did enjoy that story with Broly when he was younger, but I feel like it dragged out a lot. And I also feel like a lot of the beginning part of the movie dragged out a lot as well. Don't get me wrong, it was cool as hell to see, my boys, the Ginyu Force and Dodoria and Zarbon all showing up on planet Vegeta, and King Vegeta interacting with them. But though they never say anything, it was just really King Cold and Frieza who really had dialogue. But really cool also to see just more backstory of the Saiyans, really a lot of a backstory of how we get to see little kid Vegeta, little kid Raditz, and they were in the military when they actually find out the planet blows up. That was pretty cool, and they're really just nonchalant attitude about it, not even caring that their brothers and family were okay just because they're ruthless Saiyans, was really cool also to see like old Nappa who actually had hair and a big old fat mustache. That was pretty cool. This actually answers a really big question as well, as how did he kill so many Saiyans and why were all the Saiyans on one planet at the same time? Which is a really good thing what they did here is apparently Frieza made all the Saiyans go to planet Vegeta for a calling for an announcement. So, and everybody was questioning like, why the hell is Frieza calling all the Saiyans to the planet? Something's not right. And then we switched to Bardock, and Bardock's like, yeah, something's not right. Something's up here. I can feel death in the air. I know something's not right here. Something's not right. Bardock also doesn't really lead the rebellion like I guess we were kind of led to believe. He is at the forefront when Frieza goes to blow up the planet to try to stop it, but he bites the dust very quickly. But you do get to see him actually see his son Kakarot and say, just remember us, and even the mother kind of crying like, hey son, remember us. He knew that something bad was coming. That's why he sent Kakarot to Earth. The whole beginning story with Frieza and the Saiyans and everything was really good. I'm not gonna say that it was bad at all. I just felt like it dragged out for way too long. I absolutely enjoyed it, but I started being like, hey, like when are we gonna get to some present day stuff? This is all cool and stuff, but I kind of know all of this stuff already. Was really cool to see. So we got our backstory out of the way. We've seen how Frieza's come into power, why he blew up the planet, how he got all the Saiyans to die. and we've, you know, seen, you know, Broly, his backstory, and now we're finally at present day. So it's pretty comical, a couple of things in there. Bulma basically is a symbol of the Dragon Balls, and she wants to wish to make herself look 5 years younger, and the way she explains it is really funny. She's like, oh, well, I want to be 5 years younger because if I do 10 or 15, it'd be really noticeable. And then apparently Frieza has come to Earth to get the Dragon Balls as well, and you know, apparently Vegeta's giving Goku shit. He's like, you know, you're the one who brought him back to life. If he gets the Dragon Balls, like, you know, he could wish for immortality, and he could wish for, you know, to be more powerful, etc., etc. So Frieza actually is planning on getting the Dragon Balls, which is quite hilarious. People are, we kind of cuts to like Frieza's ship, and they're asking him like, hey, why do you want the Dragon Balls? Do you want to be immortal? Do you want to be more powerful? And Frieza's like, no. So one of his henchmen's like, it's because Frieza wants to be taller. And they're like, oh shit, you didn't just say that to Frieza because you know Frieza's a short little motherfucker. And Frieza's like, yeah, actually that's it. So Frieza actually wants to wish for himself to be 5 centimeters taller, so he seems more bigger and more threatening. And it's even more funny. They're like, hey, Frieza, why don't you just go back into your second form or whatever, because your second form or third form is gigantic. He's like, no, I want it in my final form, in my golden form. And they're like, why just 5 centimeters? And the same thing is kind of like Bulma's answer. He's like, because I want people to think that I'm still growing and that it's natural. I thought that was pretty fucking hilarious. Everyone in the theater fucking bust out laughing. So we cut to these, the guy and the girl, they're in the Frieza Force. I can't remember their name, but they end up stumbling into Broly and his father's ship to recruit them because they're out basically recruiting people for the Frieza Force. And they need people with a high power level. So they end up running into Broly, and beep, 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 his power level's off the charts. So like, hell yeah, we need you to meet Frieza. So Frieza grabs Broly and his father, and he's pretty much like, hey, like, you're now in the Frieza army. I need your son. Apparently he's very strong. I need him to go beat up some Saiyans for me on Earth. So Frieza ends up going to Earth. He sends a couple of his guys to nab the Dragon Balls. Goku and Vegeta end up meeting them like in the Antarctica area, stopping them getting the Dragon Ball. Frieza is like, okay, bam, you know what? They already know that Goku and Vegeta are there. Frieza shows up with his boy Broly and his father, and Frieza's like, hey, you know what? I'm here for the Dragon Balls. I'm about to leave. And Goku's like, no, you're not. And there's a couple of funny little dialogue in there. He's like, oh, I found this other Saiyan on this repugnant planet. And Goku's like, you know what, Frieza? And Frieza's like, what? And he's like, what does repugnant mean? It was really funny. It was pretty, you know, Goku's a fucking idiot. So anyway, Broly, he's like, hey, this is my new person, Broly. He's a Saiyan. And you know what? He tells Broly's father, like, hey, stick your boy on him. I want to see how strong he is. So obviously the father has nothing but hatred for King Vegeta because he's the one who kind of banished his son. He's like, that's Vegeta. I don't care if it's your King Vegeta or not. You're still a Vegeta and you're his son. You're getting dealt with. So he sends Broly after him. Vegeta starts whooping his ass pretty damn good. But Broly is getting stronger and stronger with every punch thrown, and Vegeta has to progressively keep getting stronger or powering up more to deal with Broly. So he goes from, you know, his base form to Super Saiyan to God form, and then he pretty much just gets his ass kicked. Goku has to end up jumping in. Goku goes all the way up to his blue form, and I mean, there's one point where Goku's in his God form, and he's trying to tell Broly just to calm down. He's like, I don't feel like you're a bad guy. Something's just not right with you. Just calm down. And Goku kind of like giggling because he thinks he has the upper hand on it. Broly just snaps and he beats the fuck out of Goku. Like, I was watching like, oh god damn, that looks like it hurts. I mean, he was slamming him left and right, and the screams that Goku was making, I was like, oh, you just fucking felt it. Like, you felt that ass whooping. So Piccolo ends up like hitting him in the head with his telepathy shit. He's like, hey, Goku, like, you getting your ass whooped? Goku's like, yeah, you know what? We might be in some trouble here. So he ends up going Super Saiyan Blue, going up against Broly. It ain't working. So now Frieza's like, hey, you know what? I don't know, man. There's some shit going on. I want to really see how strong this Broly guy is. So he ends up killing Broly's father and turning around looking at and screaming for Broly, hey Broly, look, someone killed your father. It might have been a stray blast. So fucking Broly goes ballistic and turns into like a Super Saiyan almost. But they explain that Broly has so much power is because he has that great ape form, but he can manifest it in his body. So he doesn't turn into a big ape, but he can turn all of that energy into his form, because like I think it like triples or quadruple like your power like by 500 or 500,000 or so. I can't remember what the number. I think it's 5,000. Your power gets doubled by like 5,000 when you're in the great ape form, but he can embody that. He can embody that in his normal form. So that's why Broly is so strong. So anyway, Broly sees that his father is dead. He turns into like a Super Saiyan in that like great ape in his human form, and then he just gives Goku the fucking business. Vegeta jumps in. He's like, obviously you're not going to win this by yourself. We're going to need to fight this motherfucker together. So they start fighting together, and they're both getting their ass whooped. Like Broly is just like every time he punch him or they punch him, Broly's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And it was fucking awesome. It was really fucking great. The animation was fucking fucking fantastic. All the fighting was fucking beautiful. Really funny that Vegeta and Goku like show up right in front of Frieza, or Broly right behind him, and then Goku just does instant transmission, like warps over to Piccolo. So Broly is crazy. He doesn't give a fuck who's who. He just starts beating the shit out of Frieza. So Goku and Vegeta have to end up learning how to do the fuse form with Piccolo. Of course, Goku and Vegeta have their back and forth about, you know, Vegeta thinks it's so embarrassing, and Goku's like, no, we have to save the world, blah, blah. So they end up learning how to do the fusion dance, and they end up doing the fusion dance, and they turn into a couple of bad forms because they can't get it right the first time. So literally this whole time that they're messing up their forms and they have to wait 30 minutes, Frieza's just getting his ass whooped by Broly over and over and over and over. Frieza's literally just taking an ass whooping for like an hour and a half, which I thought was pretty fucking funny because they kept cutting back to Frieza just getting his ass whooped by Broly. So they finally get their form right and they turn into Gogeta. Now this is where the film really shines. When Gogeta comes back and he fucking fights Broly, oh my god, it's beautiful. The animation, the fighting, like, it was going so fast, like I couldn't even capture all of it. I'm like, what? I think I was missing shit. Like they were moving so fucking fast. I'm like, when did he go Super Saiyan Blue? Like I didn't even see him go Super Saiyan Blue, like, or God, like I didn't even see that. Like he was in his base form, then he was like blue, and I'm like, what the fuck? But it was beautiful and brilliant. You know, they ended up, Gogeta ends up, whew, boy, he put the work in on Broly, and they're like, man, the people who ended up rescuing Broly off that planet felt bad for him. They ended up using the Dragon Balls and wishing Broly back to his home planet where he could calm down. So right when Gogeta's about to put the fucking final Kamehameha on his ass, they warp Broly back to his planet so they save him. And then Frieza's like trying to get away, and Gogeta's like, Frieza's like, you know what, I'll be back for you one day, whatever. So I gotta say, as far as the animation goes, top notch, absolutely beautiful, breathtaking visuals. The fighting was astounding. There are some times where the animation is not so great and you can clearly notice it clearly looks off, but for the most part, all the fighting scenes, and there's a lot of CGI in this as well with some of the spaceship, which I thought was also really, really beautiful. Now that Frieza, you know, he ends up going, now this is one big thing that I really didn't like with the movie. So Goku ends up going instant transmission back to see Broly with the two people. They left, they went to go, they basically want to go live with Broly at this point because Broly can protect them from Frieza. So, because Frieza's actually fucking terrified of Broly at this point. So Goku does instant transmission. He brings them a couple things to help him survive on this planet because apparently this planet's not very easy to live on. He's like, you know what? I like this guy Broly. You know what? He's inspired me to be stronger. He's so strong that, you know, I had to fuse with my partner Vegeta to fight him. So I definitely have to get stronger, and I thank him for that. I just want to be able to come back and fight Broly from time to time to train. Broly's like, kind of like a smile on his face, you know, blah, blah, blah. So as Goku's about to leave, the most cliche, stupid fucking thing, they're like, hey, you know what? We don't even know your name. And there's a stereotypical still camera at his back for a second. He's like, I am Goku, but tell your friend Broly, he can call me Kakarot. What? I thought it was stupid. I thought it was so corny. And then like when the movie ended, everybody in the movie theater was clapping, and I was like, what? Like that wasn't even cool, like the ending part of it, whatever. But anyway, I thought that was so cliche and so stupid. But overall, I mean, the movie was really good. I really feel like a lot of the scenes when we were building up to the final fight with Broly, I just felt like it was so rushed. I felt that when we showed up at Piccolo and they were doing the transform and fusion thing, it felt everything as far as building up to this final fight with Gogeta and Broly felt so rushed. I know it's a Dragon Ball movie. I know they can't pan this thing out for 10 episodes like they would normally do. And I guess maybe that's just what I'm so used to, like the slow pacing, because that's all I really do is watch a lot of the shows. I felt that it was just so rushed. Understandably, they got to fit this thing in an hour and a half to 2 hours. And it's about an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 45 minutes, something like that. So not super terribly long, but overall, it was good. There was some parts about it that I just felt dragged on too much. There was some stupid stuff that I just felt like was really unnecessary. You know, the comedy in it, I felt like, you know, obviously I just felt like you had to be a Dragon Ball fan, obviously, to get some of this comedy, because you got to know the characters. Overall, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, Dragon Ball Z fan, Dragon Ball Super fan, what have you, you're absolutely gonna love this movie. Just gotta say, before I end this, seeing this thing on the big screen, never seen a Dragon Ball movie on the big screen before. This was my first experience. It was absolutely amazing to see my boys up on the screen fighting. My favorite is Vegeta, but anyway, just seeing those boys up on there on the screen fighting, actually seeing the Dragon Ball movie in the movie theater and like getting the crowd reaction with the laughter, and you know, obviously being surrounded by a lot of people who really like Dragon Ball just as much as I do was a really cool and great experience and top-notch stuff there. If there's ever another Dragon Ball movie in the movie theater, like I definitely have to go and see it. It's not really the movie itself. I mean, it is obviously obviously, but it's also the experience of being around a lot of people you know who are fans of the same thing you are. But anyway, this is pretty much my review, kind of thoughts on Dragon Ball Broly Super. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought about it. I did think it was great, but I do definitely have some complaints about it, and I really think a lot of the pacing was slow, and a lot of things that I felt like they needed to focus on was really sped up way too much. But anyway, Kamikaze Soundwaves here. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you over the next one. Much obliged for watching. Later.